وسهلا بكل الذين ينضموا للاستماع إلى راديو بلدي أول راديو عربي أمريكي ويعنى بقضايا العرب في المهجر. برامجنا في راديو بلدي كل يوم جمعة من 8 وحتى 9 صباحا مع ليلى الحسيني في بث حي ومباشر عبر wnzk راديو 690 AM. صباح الخير بلدي، صباح الخير لكل مستمعينا.
Welcome to Radio Baladi, the first Arab, Middle Eastern, and American simulcast radio show. Radio Baladi is broadcast every Friday morning on WNZK 690 AM from 8 until 9 Eastern Time on Good Morning Michigan with Layla Al-Husseini. Our call-in number 248-557-3300. And now, stay tuned for the best radio talk show on Arab and American issues with your host, Layla Al-Husseini.
Today's show is presented by Dish Network, and now here's your host, Ray Hanania.
And good morning and welcome to Radio Baladi, the Arab Daily News radio show. I am Ray Hanania, and today is Friday, January 15th. It's 8:03 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm in Chicago, broadcasting live, and you're hearing me in Detroit and Washington, D.C. on AM 690 in Detroit, WNZK, and AM 700 in Washington, D.C. And, of course, you can always go to the ArabDailyNews.com, click the link, look up radio. It's very easy on the menu right at the top, and listen live from wherever you're at so you can stay on top of what's happening in the Middle East and the American Arab and Muslim community, because apparently Muslims are a big topic and Arabs are a big topic in this country. We're the number one topic. It dominates, the debates. I couldn't even watch the Republican debate last night. It was just so pathetic because, my basic view is very simple. Donald Trump is just peeling back the onion skin on the right-wing Tea Party, far-right conservative Republican nut jobs, these crazy people like Ann Coulter, Ted Cruz, all of them. They're just terrible. I could go down the whole list. Lindsey Graham. Are you kidding me? Those people are moderate. They're the crazies. Trump is just saying exactly what the Republican Party at the national level, not talking about local Republicans at the state level, because like in Chicago, really Republicans in Chicago are basically conservative Democrats. That's really about it. But when you get to the national level, they're crazy. They're going nuts. They're going to destroy this country. And to have to listen to them be such hypocrites really just makes me sick. It's like, are you kidding me? So all these people that are attacking Trump, okay, I get it. He says stuff I don't like. But is he saying anything different than any of the rest of them? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the response to President Barack Obama's State of the Union speech this past week, if you watched it. I thought it was his best speech in a long time. Of course, presidents who are leaving office always seem to find the cojones that they should have had when they were in office, but they're playing politics. That's my big criticism of Barack Obama. He kind of tried to play nice with the far right, and they won't let up. He should have beat the heck out of them. But it was nice to see him come out strong. And this Nikki Haley, we're going to talk about her. She's the governor, the right-wing Republican governor of South Carolina, probably one of the most racist states in the United States. They're one of the last, I think, to tear down the Confederate flag. Now, the Confederate flag, there are two things about it. It's a historical part of America on the one hand, but on the other hand, it has become, and many people in the South have allowed this to happen, a symbol of racist hatred in this country. People drive around right here, even in Chicago, with the Johnny Reb rebel flag. Huge, not small, huge. You're talking 6 feet long, 5 feet tall, on poles on the back of their pickup trucks, along with their shotguns, driving through the streets of Chicago, yelling and screaming racist epithets at anyone who's a minority, anybody whose skin is a little darker than theirs. It's really kind of sad. So we'll talk about Nikki Haley. We'll talk about President Obama. And we'll talk about how Donald Trump really is not the problem. I mean, we scream, even in the Arab and Muslim community, we scream about Donald Trump. Oh, don't kick out Muslims, don't prevent Muslims. He's all rhetoric. They're already blocking Muslims. They're already blocking Arabs. And you know where? They're doing nothing about the massacres in Syria. Nothing is being done. If this were any other country in the world, we would be up in arms. It could be Korea. We'd go berserk about it. It could be in China, Japan, even in Africa, some countries, although not many. It's still, what we do around the world is driven by race and racism, because that is the fundamental spirit of the American people, is racist hatred. Now, most Americans may be racist, but there are a lot of good Americans who do their best to fight it. But this country is raised in a cauldron of racist hate. We're taught to be suspicious of other races. We're taught to base and judge people based on their race, the color of their skin, and their religion, rather than on the content of their character, as the late Reverend Martin Luther King said he hoped his kids would one day be judged by. This is the week for Martin Luther King and remembering him, and it really is kind of sad. I do remember him. I remember how white kids drove around black areas in 1968 when King was killed, looking for black people to beat up, and I remember how black kids drove around white areas right past our house and would stop and start fighting with white kids. It was a terrible time. We've kind of pushed that under the rug. We're still racist. We just don't like to admit it. But the truth is that Donald Trump, he's not the problem, folks. The problem is the fundamental foundation of the this current Republican Party, which isn't the Republican Party of Ronald Reagan. It's not the Republican Party of Abraham Lincoln. This is the Republican Party of opportunists who are demagogues, who use rhetoric and fear and racism and stereotypes to drive their politics because they don't know how to lead. So they fill the gap by making you afraid. And that's what they do to Americans. And they get the enemies like us. They hate Arabs, they hate Muslims, they hate people of color. They get us to think that the problem is Donald Trump, but Trump is just a symptom. Donald Trump is just the symptom of the problem. The problem is this fundamental hatred that is driving the right, the conservatives, who hate anybody who's not the same color. And they'll pander to a few people like Nikki Haley, the Indian. She's not really Indian, she's Sikh. But that was too hard to explain. And it's actually pronounced Sikh, S-I-H-K, I think. Did I spell it right? I don't know. But it's called Sikh. It's not Sikh. And it's always mispronounced. But Sikh doesn't sound good, so people, instead of saying Sikh, they pronounce it as Sikh. And if you happen to be Sikh out there, or Sikh, whatever you want to call it, you can call in. I'd love for you to explain what that is to our listeners who really just don't know. And Nikki Haley, though, is so anti-Arab. She's so anti-minority, even though she is, quote-unquote, a Republican minority. That's why they love her so much. They were so proud to put her up and give the 9-minute rebuttal to President Barack Obama this past week after the president delivered his 7th and final State of the Union address. Our number here at the Arab Daily News radio show is 248-557-3300. We're just going to take calls. But the big question is, we'll talk about Obama, but the other question is really, what do we do about Syria? I mean, really, that is a problem. And it's part of the problem in this country. We don't want to help the Syrians. There's like this divided feeling in America. We don't want to help them because they're Arab and Muslim. And yet, on the other hand, a lot of Syrians have been in this country for years. And a lot of Americans know Syrians. Either as Lebanese or as Palestinians, the victims of Israeli oppression. They know us. They know the Syrians. We were a category. They're familiar with us. But how can we let them starve to death without doing anything? Nothing's being done. We got Russia is doing something. They're killing civilians. The commies, they're still commies. Believe me, don't think that Russia, the government, and remember, when we talk about Israel, when I talk about Russia, when I talk about these other countries, I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about the governments. I criticize the government of Israel. I criticize the government of Russia. The Russian people are good people. It's the Russian government that makes the decisions and oppress the people. And it's the Russian government that is sending jets and bombs. They're not killing ISIS. They're fighting Bashar al-Assad's war against the rebels. They're taking sides. Now, you may support the rebels. You may support Assad. You may support Iran. You may support Hezbollah. You may support the Israelis. I don't know. You may support the Saudis. Everybody is taking sides. And the bottom line, though, is the one consistency is the death and destruction of Syria and the killing of the Syrian people. Give us a call at 248-557-3300 if you want to share your opinion. Maybe you don't care. I get it. I mean, these problems are too heavy. You know, why can't we just be normal people and have fun and, you know, cry about losing, you know, the $1.5 billion in the lottery the other day? How many people spent a fortune for nothing? It's a scam. They've conditioned us to believe that somehow we're going to take $150 to buy, 50 tickets with the multiplier, $3 each? Or let's just say you don't even do that. $150 would be 75 tickets. $150 that you need to put food on your table, and they want you to buy a lottery ticket because they promise you that, you know, one of you may become a billionaire. Maybe three of you may become multi-millionaires. But the truth is that the vast majority of you out there are going to be losers, and you're going to lose. You're going to get nothing. It's stacked. It's stacked against you. There's no way you can benefit. And yeah, sure, one or two, or maybe 6 people, or maybe 100 people are going to win, but 300 million people are going to lose, and that's what happens with the lottery. It's just so sad how we really love the lottery, but that's it. Give us a buzz at 248-557-3300. Your reaction to President Barack Obama's speech and your reaction to what's happening in Syria. What do you think, you know, who's to blame? What can we do? I guess even blame is a waste of time now. It's either the Saudis, Asad, they've been fighting forever, destroyed Lebanon. It used to be one of the greatest places in the world, still is a beautiful culture, but that war between Assad and the Saudis destroyed Lebanon. It destroyed Lebanon, and I don't think anybody really cares about it, which really is kind of sad to me. We should care about it. 248-557-3300. I'm Ray Hanania. Remember, our website is thearabdailynews.com, thearabdailynews.com. We've got a lot of great programs over there, a lot of great stories. I got a profile of Nikki Haley there. We got a story about one of my favorite shows, if you ever watch it on HGTV, Flip or Flop, with Tarek and Christina El Moussa. He's not Egyptian, he's Moroccan. And I wrote a nice story about who he is and about their family at thearabdailynews.com. I'm Ray Hanania. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, Mike, I think what we'll do is when we come back, we'll go right to the phones at 248-557-3300. So give us a call. I want to hear your opinion about the president in Syria. And I'm telling you, you only got 2 minutes. No long diatribes. Just, you got to be concise, focused, right to the point, okay? I'm Ray Hanania. We're going to be right back right after these messages.
Arabi.
عربي.
That's what I said. Arabi.
قناة زعيم بابا. Forget it. Watch مسلسل.
Save 40% for 12 months on the Arabi deal from Dish. Get your favorite Arabic channels for $24.99 a month. Call 1-888-926-1455 and use the code offer SAVEBIG. That's 1-888-926-1455. Dish. Your culture at home.
عربي.
Limited time offer. Requires subscription to qualifying American or Dish Latino programming. Other restrictions apply.
Ziyad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziyad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Donna, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziad.com. That's www.ziad.com. Ziad, quality products from our family to yours.
From their first words to first grade, Dreamy Children's Center will help get your child on the right track. The highly qualified staff works closely with parents to provide an experience that goes beyond early education. We can help nurture important personality traits with the use of educational programs ranging from preschooling for infants to Montessori-approved programs and bilingual curriculums for young children. All meals can be provided and we can arrange for after-school pickup. Dreamy Children's Center in Dearborn Heights on Warren, in Westland on Ann Arbor Trail, and in Troy on DeQuinder.
Life for Relief and Development is a nonprofit charity that has been providing humanitarian aid and development to people and communities regardless of race, color, religion, or cultural background for over 22 years. When disaster occurs here or around the world, Life rushes to provide food, medical aid, and shelter to those in need. Life also has development projects to provide medical relief, water purification, educational programs, relief for orphans, and much more. Your help and support can greatly improve these efforts. All donations are tax deductible. For more information, please visit our website at lifeusa.org or call 248-424-7493. That's lifeusa.org, 248-424-7493.
And welcome back to Radio Baladi, the Arab Daily News radio show. Our website is thearabdailynews.com. Let's go to the phones at 248-557-3300, and let's say hello to our first guest, Jerry. How you doing, man? You're always reliable. Jerry, don't you have anything to do in the morning on a Friday?
To be honest with you, my Friday doesn't start good unless I hear to South Arab America, the voice of the Arab.
You're a good guy, Jerry.
And I respect you guys. And thank you for taking my call, Mr. Ray Hanania. How are you today?
We're doing good. How about you, Jerry? You're a good
Very
guy.
good, thank you. You got me lost, Mr. Ray Hanania. Today, your show has so many topics, and I don't know where to start.
Well, that's why I give you an assortment, a cornucopia. Pick which one you like.
About President Barack Obama's speech, the State of the Union.
Yeah, what'd you think?
And Ray, with my respect to our president.
Yeah, that's all right. You can be critical. And, you know, Jerry, you and I don't have to agree. I'll respect your opinion no matter what it is, believe me.
Thank you, Ray. Ray, the president, he did not mention, even not from the left or to the right, nothing about Iraq, nothing about Syria, nothing about Libya, nothing about Yemen. And Ray,
they've forgotten about us, believe me.
Yes.
They've abandoned us. And yes, they scream about us, you know, when they want to get people angry, but you're right, they don't do anything about it.
Maybe Mr. President, temporarily, he has dementia disease.
Yes.
But Ray, Iraq or Syria, look today, or Yemen or Libya, they are a disaster area. Why? Is the result of the falling foreign policy of this American administration. Ray, 2003, when Baghdad fell, and they will try to bring democracy to Iraq. What kind of democracy, Ray? What kind of democracy in Libya after Muammar Gaddafi? What democracy here and there? Ray, don't you think Iraq, it's in the face of a bankrupt in the next 6 months, and our government, United States government, allow a bunch of thugs steal over $200 million from Iraqi people, and the country doesn't have a single dollar in their treasury. What kind of policy is this, Ray? Look, Ray, the millions of refugees here and there and there. The result of who? Is the foreign policy of the United States of America. We love this country. We love the American people. But our politicians, they should look again what's going on. And Ray, I don't want to take too much time of you because there's other listeners. Thank you, Ray.
Well, let me ask you one question before I let you go. And I know Iraq is a big deal. It's very important. It's a disaster, too. The government there is horrible. They're not doing anything for anybody. Halliburton pretty much runs the country still. They're making a fortune dividing the Iraqis. But what do we do in Syria? Who do you think, as an Iraqi yourself, who do you think is responsible for the suffering in Syria?
To be honest with you, and I say it one more time, is nothing but the foreign policy of the United States that left a big gap that the Russian president involved in Syria. Why? Because there is no such a picture for the USA in Syria. Look to the Russian right now. They've been bombing here and there. I know he came to assist his ally, President Bashar al-Assad. That's all what it is. But the Russians, they came to fill the vacuum of no presentation of our American troops or engagement over there. So Syria or Iraq, we are a victim. Libya is a victim of the foreign policy of former Secretary of State, Ms. Hillary Clinton. And look what happened after Gaddafi. Look what happened in Yemen. I mean, it's a disaster, Ray. It's a disaster. But, Ray, thank you very much. God bless you, and thank you for your show, and my best to you.
All right. Listen, thank you, Jerry. That was nice of Jerry to call in and share his views. He's not afraid to call and express an opinion. And I'll tell you what, we need to be louder in our voices. We need to speak up more. We can't just sit back and do nothing, because I'll tell you what, people are dying from all sides, every community, Sunni, Shiite, Syrians, Iraqis, but if we sit back and do nothing, like we don't care, like we've given up, they make you go out. They can get you to spend $150 hard-earned dollars on an impossible dream, to waste it on the lottery instead of buying food to put on your table for your family. But we can't get you to get engaged in helping to get this country, as Jerry pointed, and I agree with Jerry, that it's this country that's doing nothing. We should be leading. This government should be leading, but they're doing nothing. Those people are just people. Forget about the politics. Even forget about the religion. How do you kill women and children? How do you do that? And you're complicit in killing women and children if you do nothing about it. How do you do that in Syria? How do we let those people die? I just don't get it. And it isn't just about money. I mean, yeah, I could write a check for a couple $100, which is good, and I wish everybody would. But if that's all we do, that's nothing. That's not going to change anything. We need to show the world we care. And if we don't care, if American Arabs don't care about what's happening in Syria, why should anybody else care? If you don't care, why should anybody else, regular Americans, white mainstream Americans, why should they care? The media doesn't care. The media in this country is the enemy. The media is the enemy. I'm talking about the mainstream media. They're the enemy. They're the people. They're part of corporate America now. They're not really independent. They're not really objective anymore. They don't really care. They've been bought off. They can't be objective. They are the enemy. And we need to do something about it. 248-557-3300 is the number. There's so much I got to do today. A lot of work, huh? Now that I didn't win the lottery, I actually have to get up and, do everything. I don't know how they suckered me into spending any money on those lottery tickets. There's not a chance in heck of winning. 1 in 300 million. Even if you buy the 300 million tickets, you might lose because someone might accidentally win. They don't want you to win. Yeah, they take most of that money. Why is it, in many states, they just take the money from you and the government gets half. The government is a winner every lottery. It's the American people that are the big losers. Every lottery day, we're the big losers, and we take it like sheep, right? Kharuf, that's what we are, right? Isn't that what we are? We're sheep. We do nothing. We sit there. We let them do whatever they want to do. We, we're afraid to make our voices heard. We're angry with ourselves. We yell at each other. We attack other Arabs. It's easier to attack other Arabs than it is to stand up for principle in this country. And it's just really sad. I just sometimes, a lot of times I get depressed because I know how, difficult it is to motivate people. Why should you risk your life? Why should you put yourself out on the front line and get attacked like I do? I got as many people blocked on my Facebook page as I have friends. I think I got 4,325 friends, 4,325 friends, and 4,325 people that hate me. So, I love to block people. Let's go to the phone lines at 248-557-3300. And I don't block critics. I block people that try to say nasty things. They think they're funny and cute, so they say nasty things. I'm glad they do it because then I know who they are. You want to know who the lowlifes are, and then you kind of block them. Let's go right back to the phone lines at 248-557-3300 and welcome Auni. Auni, thank you for waiting,
morning,
and
Ray.
thank you for calling.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you for taking my phone call. Thank you for all you're doing. God bless you.
I'm not doing enough. I feel embarrassed. I'm doing nothing.
Don't feel embarrassed. I just want to say something, if you don't mind. I've been here for about 45 years. I'm involved with the community and doing a lot of things. The thing about it, we blame the U.S. government policies and back home. That's fine. I'm not arguing about that. The thing about it, what are we doing here?
Yes.
I mean, take an example of the Syrians and Iraq. You have hundreds, if not thousands, of Syrian doctors. You have hundreds, if not thousands, of Iraqi doctors, very well established, very awesome, great doctors. Why aren't they doing something about it to help?
Some of them are, but you're right. A lot of them, they don't do anything.
Come on, Ray. What are we getting? 1% of it?
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree. It's shameful because we don't get enough help, and most of our community are silent, and they just don't want to do anything. You think they're afraid to do something?
I don't know. I think they just talk. We go to functions, and they show up. I mean, even to raise funds, they go in there unless you have a big, huge party where you're gonna go and show up. I mean, come on, why can't they go spend 2 weeks to help the people at the borders? Why can't they go to the camp in Jordan for the Syrians? This is safe. Nothing's gonna happen to you. Get 100 doctors and have a mobile. I mean, it's really sad. The business people. And, get involved with the American politics. Let them hear your voice.
Yes, how we can help the Arab people, the Syrians, the Iraqis, the Palestinians, by being more American. The more American we become, the more effective we can be in helping our people.
I
agree with you absolutely.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, come on. I mean, write a check. Contribution, get involved in the local politics. I mean, that is the only way you can make any difference. And most of the politicians, once they get to know us, and you tell them what's going on, I'm not telling to take sides, but to help. And we need to get more involved. We can't keep blaming. We get in the radio, we get in the paper, and our functions everywhere, we sit and brag, But that's not enough. You've got to be more American. We live in this country. This is my country. I'm not going back. My kids are growing here. And that's the way it is.
I'm not going back to be oppressed. Listen, Tony, thank you for calling. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. Let's go to Marlon on the phone lines at 248-557-3300, and then we'll take a break right after Marlon. Marlon, you're on here at the Arab Daily News Radio Show. Thank you for waiting and calling.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I just want to cover a few things. Well, the first thing I wanted to cover was that, you were talking about, a little bit ago about, how we look to the world and, while we're sitting around and seeing, women and children, be hurt and killed and all the things that's happening overseas, how
and
when
here,
we don't do
and
it.
in this country.
Pardon me?
And in this country, too. Teenagers in Chicago.
Yeah.
You're black. You're a target in this country.
Yeah, and so, like, when we talk about even, like, well, the Chicago, to me, situation is a little bit different because I feel like, what's going to happen here in our country as far as, like, gun laws and everything like that, you mix the two in regards to having, like, a lot of the inner cities people, like, fighting out against law enforcement, and you need law enforcement in order to effectively, police the community, but yet you're ostracizing them, saying that they're killing everybody when that number, that everybody can look at the statistics and see that those numbers aren't true to fact of saying, like, white police officers are killing black people. I'm an African-American man, but I love my law enforcement officers. When I have an issue.
I got family members that are in law enforcement. I'm not against them. 99% of police, military, they do the right thing. It's just that small group. And that police stand together even when they got somebody who does something wrong. They will not speak out against that person. That's the problem with the police department.
But here's the other issue, though, is that, like, across the board, it's not just in the police profession. It's in whatever kind of profession. If me and you worked at Google, when we sign on, there's just certain things we're not going to step out and say, well, Yahoo has better products. Across whatever profession you're in, even with the radio
but Google
station,
doesn't shoot people. Google does. Listen, you're right. There's racism and discrimination, maybe, that plays at big business. But they're not shooting people. Here in Chicago, that kid, they shot him 3 times, and I think, okay, Laquan McDonald, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And then the kid's laying on the ground, not moving, and this police officer who just arrived at the scene shoots him 13 more times. And I'm thinking, what do you need to shoot him 13 more times for? That's rage, isn't it? I don't know.
But
that's the problem with our policy with the Middle East.
Yeah, but here's my issue, though, is that, like, I don't feel like that representation of what happened with that Chicago shooting is a representation in regards to, like, our policy in regards to this nature. I look at our policy as far as, like, foreign policy, and I say to myself like this. First of all, like, we're not even really talking about the nature of, like, who really runs this country. Because everybody knows that our president doesn't really run it. So once we establish, like, who runs it, and then we figure out, okay, well, how is it that we keep on electing these people who have these crazy foreign policies, and yet we're still voting for these puppets? We're not in a, we're not even, are we even we're not even a democracy. We're supposed to be a republic, but are we even a republic anymore?
I'm depressed now. Listen, I got one more question for you, okay, Marlon? Because I appreciate you taking the time to call and getting involved, because, the Middle East is the biggest issue that they're talking about. Muslims, Arabs, the Middle East. So we need to address it more. Who do you think is responsible for the problems in Syria, or is that not a big deal? What do you think? You're a typical American. What do you think?
I 100% believe that, along with America, you have this thing that we're involved in called NATO. And I feel like that this was something that they wanted. Okay, let's even take it out for 1 second and think about what happened with Gaddafi. It's been came out now that through looking through a lot of emails and things like that of Hillary Clinton's, that they know now for sure that Gaddafi was taken out because he wanted to establish that African currency, which was going to rival the American dollar. So he was taken out. That's something that we co-sign. Whether it be directly America or NATO, we are a partnership with NATO. So whatever NATO does, they don't do it by themselves. We are a partner in that. And that's another issue, is that a lot of times, even when we talk about, like, well, America did this, a lot of times it'd be like NATO, but because we are a part of NATO, we are one with them as well.
All right. Marlon, listen, thank you so much. The power of radio and media and getting involved is thousands of people heard what you had to say, and you gave them a thought that they need to think about. Marlon, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate it.
Take care, man. All right.
All right, no problem. This is Ray Hanania here at the Arab Daily News radio show, Radio Baladi. at AM 690 in Detroit and AM 700 in Washington, D.C. Our number is 248-557-3300, and we're talking about Obama, we're talking about the State of the Union, we're talking about Syria, we're talking about Iraq, and it's open mic, so I want you to call in and talk to me at 248-557-3300. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll continue the discussion right after these messages.
40 No 40 pronounce the عين بابا. Watch the transfer بابا.
Save 40% for 12 months on the Adobe deal from Dish. Get your favorite Arabic channels for $24.99 a month. Call 1-888-926-1455 and use the code offer SAVE BIG. That's 1-888-926-1455. Dish, your culture at home.
عربي.
Limited time offer. Requires subscription to qualifying American or Dish Latino programming. Other restrictions apply.
Are you going to start a restaurant or grocery store soon? Do you need floor plans and designs? Call Najee Abood at 734-744-9796. Do you want to buy kitchen and restaurant equipment at discount prices? Call Najee Abood now, 734-744-9796. New Concept Products and Design, the trademark of kitchen equipment. 5% discount on all purchases of $75,000 or more. New Concept Products and Design, new location, 31185 Schoolcraft in Livonia. Learn more at www.newconceptproducts.com. Call Najee Abood, 734-744-9796.
Ziad brand. Quality products from our family to yours. Ziad Brothers Importing offers the finest quality products, including brands like Sultan, Kraft, Nestle, Hook, Rico Picon, Donna, and many more. Ask your retailer to carry these fine products because you deserve the very best. For more information, visit our website at www.ziad.com. That's www.ziad.com. Ziad, quality products from our family to yours.
And Ziad products are great. Arab men and women, obviously, but probably more Arab men than American men. We love to cook. American men love to barbecue, but American Arabs, Arab men, we love to cook. I love to cook. I love to cook stuffed grape leaves. I love to cook stuffed squash, stuffed potatoes. And I'm mastering rice. It's taken me all my life to get the rice right. But you got to rinse it off. That's the key to great rice. You got to rinse it. But if you go to Ziad.com, you will see a whole list of neat recipes. If you like Middle Eastern food, and Middle Eastern food is the foundation of the Mediterranean diet. And the Mediterranean diet is the healthiest diet. That extra virgin olive oil, all those olives, the cheeses, all the stuff that they produce. They're really good for you. The nuts, everything. The whole thing. You can have carbs with the Mediterranean diet and salads. Tabbouleh. Who doesn't love tabbouleh? Okay? Now, there are different kinds of tabbouleh, right? The Lebanese like to make tabbouleh mostly. It's like 90% parsley. All right? The Palestinians, they like to add cucumbers to the tabbouleh. It's more burgle. Now, that's the way I like it because I'm Palestinian. But I don't know the way you guys like it. But you can go to Ziad.com and check out their recipes if you want to try cooking something to celebrate stuff, even though there's not a lot to celebrate these days. All that tragedy in Syria just makes me really sad. And I even feel bad talking about food when the biggest problem in Syria today is little kids, wives, women, children. They can't get food. They're starving to death, and we can't do anything about it. We live in the most powerful country in the world, and we have no influence. Arab Americans, we're like hopeless. We're so divided. We don't come together. When I was a kid in the 60s, I was proud because Arabs were Arabs. We stuck together. We were a national identity. I was Arab. I was Palestinian, but I was Arab. That was the priority. And people would come up to me and say, "What are you?" I'd say, "I'm Arab." And it was like, wow, there was some power and pride in being Arab. Today, we're not Arab anymore. We're Muslim. We're Christian. We're Shiite. We're Sunni. We're, Palestinian. We're Syrian. We're Iraqi. We're Chaldean. We're Assyrian. We're Lebanese. We're Jordanian. We're not Arab anymore. We've divided ourselves. Divide and conquer. That's the most effective strategy to defeat a good cause. Divide and conquer. And that's what they've done to Arabs. They've divided us and they've conquered us. But we've done it willingly. We've gone along with it, right? We've allowed them to do that because we are, as Arabs, our own worst enemy. We don't support each other. If you want to say something, you want to get involved, it's usually to attack another Arab. Isn't that our culture? Isn't that what we do? We attack each other because it's easier to attack an Arab than it is to attack the enemy. You don't want to attack the enemy because they'll probably pound your head in. But you can attack another Arab. You can go after him and do all those terrible things. And that makes me sad because in the end, it's that policy that makes us ineffective and dilutes our voice, weakens our community, and makes it impossible to help the people that need help, like the women and children and the people of Syria. We need to do something about it, and I don't think people really care. Americans don't care, and you know what? Arabs don't care. Because if we cared, we'd be protesting now on the streets. And a couple of the callers that called in at 248-557-3300 made a very good point. They barely talked about it. They didn't talk about it during the presidential debate anymore. All they're talking about is they want to prevent Muslims and Syrian refugees from coming into this country. But they're not talking about the real issue about Muslims and Syrians, that Muslims are the target of vicious discrimination, not just here, but everywhere. And that Syrian refugees, they need our help. 90% of them are great people. They're just trying to survive. Should we let the 90 die because, a couple of them are bad? What are we, this country incompetent or something, that we can't tell the difference between good and bad? We can't solve crimes? If a bad person comes in with the immigrants, grab them, put them in jail. But let the rest of them come into this country, the majority. Let the Syrian refugees into this country. They need to come here. And these people, like even in Illinois, Governor Rauner, the guy's nuts. He doesn't want to let any Syrian refugees. You know why? Because he's not smart enough to understand the problem. He just says, let's take the stereotype Syrian refugees and prevent them from entering Illinois. He doesn't understand the problem. He's part of the problem. And too many politicians, and we're part of the problem if we allow our politicians and we allow our government to do that. 248-557-3300. You need to speak out. You want to make a difference. You can't do that sitting on your butt. You got to call 248-557-3300 and prove to the world that your opinion matters. If you don't call, your opinion doesn't matter, right? I mean, is that really what Arabs are today? We're just like, we bury our head in the sand. We come all this way to leave sand only to find a little plot of sand to stick our heads in it and hide. I'm proud to be Arab. You go to my Facebook page, you know I'm Arab. You go to my Twitter account, you read the Arab Daily News. That's the name of the website where I write. When I write for a lot of American newspapers, I'm always proud to point out in every opportunity that I'm an Arab. I want them to know it. I want Americans to know that. Because if they're going to hate me, I want them to hate me as an Arab, or I want them to love me as an Arab, because I stand up for principle and what's right. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we can take phone calls at 248-557-3300. That's 248-557-3300. And I urge you, please go to our website at thearabdailynews.com. 800,000 page views every month, reading all these stories. If you want to know what's going on in the American Arab community, visit the ArabDailyNews.com. There's a great story about Tarek El Moussa. Do you know who he is? He's the star of an HGTV show called Flip or Flop. You've probably seen him with his wife, Christina, very beautiful wife with 2 kids, and they buy homes, they renovate them, and resell them. One of the most popular shows on television, and he's Moroccan. He's Arab, American, and I'm really proud of him. It makes me feel good when I see him on TV. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion here at the Arab Daily News Radio Show at 248-557-3300. That's our number. Give us a call. We'll be right back right after these messages.
Arabi.
Arabi.
That's what I said. Arabi.
Pronounce the ayn, Baba. Forget it. Watch مسلسل.
Save 40% for 12 months on the Arabi deal from Dish. Get your favorite Arabic channels for $24.99 a month. Call 1-888-926-1455 and use the code offer SAVE BIG. That's 1-888-926-1455. Dish, your culture at home.
Arabi.
Limited time offer. Requires subscription to qualifying American or Dish Latino programming. Other restrictions apply.
أسواق زمزم الواقع على 24065 أورشاد لك في مدينة فارمington هيلز ترحب بالجالية العربية والكلدانية. تنزيلات كبيرة على عموم المواد الغذائية في يوم الأربعاء من كل أسبوع. لا تنسوا فريش كاري اوت، جميع انواع المعجنات، وايضا صواني الكمبو المشكله والصمون الحار. لحوم حلال الجاليه العربيه والاسلاميه الملحمه باداره قصاب الجاليه المعروف سلوان جربوع. زوروهم على 24065 اورشاد لك في مدينه فارمington هيلز او اتصلوا بهم على 248-476-0300. اسواق زمزم للمذاق عنوان لجميع طلباتكم. اتصلوا على 248-476-0300. اسواق زمزم للمعامله الراقية وكرم الضيافة عنوان.
مسافر وحدك وفايتني.
أمتي ترافل للسياحة والسفر بإدارة نبيل الباشا تعلن عن افتتاح مكتبها الواقع على 28695 راين رود في مدينة وورن. خدمات متميزة وخبرة تفوق 20 عاما نضعها في خدمة عملائنا الكرام. مع أمتي ترافل يمكنكم حجز رحلاتكم الجوية داخل أمريكا، الوطن العربي وأنحاء العالم، إضافة إلى الأماكن السياحية والاستجمام. للحصول على أفضل العروض وأنسب الأسعار ولمزيد من المعلومات اتصلوا على الرقم 586-578-9126 586-578-9126. أمتي ترافل، عنوان للصداقة والثقة. قشات ميديترينيان ماركت بإدارة سهر قشات وأولاده يرحبون بالجالية العربية والكلدانية. جميع أنواع المواد الغذائية، ألبان طازجة، الكرزات والبهارات الطازجة. داخل الأسواق مطعم ميديترينيان شيش كباب يقدم يوميا جميع أنواع الكباب، المقبلات العربية العراقية وصواني الكامبو المميزة. تفتح الأسواق من 8 إلى 9 مساء من الاثنين وحتى السبت، ومن 8 صباحا إلى 9 مساء يوم الأحد. تقع الأسواق على 32839 نورث ويسترن هايواي في مدينة فارمington هيلز. لحوم حلال للجالية الإسلامية. لطلباتكم من المطعم كول 248-538-7855. that is 248-538-7855. قشة ميديترينيان ماركت، خدمة متميزة ومعاملة راقية.
And welcome back to the Arab Daily News Radio Show. I'm Ray Hanania here at WNZK AM 690 in Detroit and AM 700 in Washington, D.C. You can go to the ArabDailyNews.com and click the menu item radio to get the link to listen to us online live. And also have this podcast. I'll have this show podcast later on today. Let's go right back to the phone line to 248-557-3300 and welcome Tony. You're welcome to, thank you so much for hanging on and being so patient, Tony. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. First time I ever heard you. I was just switching it out on my radio, and I ran across you and heard you talking.
Thanks, Tony. I appreciate it. You've never seen my picture hanging at the post office?
No.
I'm just joking. Go ahead.
I'm rarely in the post office. Oh, you mean as a criminal?
As a terrorist. I'm a terrorist.
No, I've never tried.
So how are you, Tony? What do you think?
I am blessed.
Who's responsible for Syria?
I am blessed, sir. And you are too. You are blessed too. Okay? The world is in such a turmoil. Okay? You talk about the Syrian refugees. And I'd like to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are they Christians? Because I'm a Christian. I love the Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? I love everybody because Jesus loved everybody.
Yeah.
Okay?
My mother is from Bethlehem. And,
okay.
She attended the Church of the Nativity, and my cousin is the pastor of the Church of the Nativity.
Okay. Well, I have a friend. He's Jordanian. He's in America right now. He's an oil repairman. He went to Bethlehem a couple of years ago. He brought me back 2 beautiful crosses for my neck from Bethlehem. Okay?
Yeah.
You hear me? He's a Jordanian, and he went there to visit his family. Went to Bethlehem. He brought me 2 beautiful crosses back on my neck.
That's beautiful. Do you wear them?
Do I? Of course. I have them.
Nice, I bet, huh?
Them. Of course, they're beautiful. And what I want to ask you, sir, all the stuff, how do you feel about the Jews in the Holy Land in Israel? How do you feel about that?
Well, my wife is a Jew, and I'm a Christian. And I think that I'd like to see both sides get together, but I am against the Israeli government. I think the Israeli government is wrong. I think the Israeli government is killing people.
They're wrong in what way?
The way they discriminate and deny civil rights to Christians and Muslims who live in Israel and under occupation. I own land there. They won't even let me have it because I'm Christian. If I were Jewish, they'd let me have it, but because I'm a Christian, they won't.
And Israel. You tell me there's no Christians there?
Pardon me?
Are you trying to say there are no Christians in Israel?
Yes, there are a lot of Christians, and they're discriminated against. They're oppressed. And Christians here don't even care. I don't get it.
You ever heard of John Hagee? The minister
and he's nuts. He's nuts, and he doesn't know what he's talking about.
United for Israel. Christian United for Israel. You ever heard of him?
Oh, yeah. No, I know. I know that he uses Israel to raise money, and he uses Israel to, brainwash people. And I have a suspicion you need to look at the Christians. If you're really Christian, I believe you are.
I'm a Christian. You believe I know the Lord who I am. Whether you believe it or not, I know I'm a Christian. I am a Christian, sir. Okay?
Right. But you know what a Christian is? A Christian is somebody who isn't afraid to acknowledge the truth. Right?
Do you believe Jesus? Tell me something. Do you believe Jesus is the Son of God?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well then you're a Christian, okay?
Of course I am.
I'm an evangelist.
But let me tell you something.
Evangelist, okay?
I don't care if somebody doesn't agree with me.
Sir, I go forth every day when I leave my home speaking about Jesus.
Good.
Okay?
And you know what Jesus would do?
And you know what, sir? He's on his way back here to straighten out all this mess.
I think he would, but I'm going to tell you something.
So he's the only one that can.
Jesus would be not very happy with the Israelis today.
Sir, Jesus chastised them. He chastised. God chastises people. He chastises people.
Tony, listen, thank you for calling. But don't forget the Christians of Israel and Palestine. Don't forget them. And Syria and Iraq. Thank you very much, Tony. Our number, 248-557-3300. Everybody thinks an Arab is a Muslim. They think, they're going to catch me. But I'm Christian. My mother's from Bethlehem. Jesus is my cousin. I wear Jesus on my shoulder. And I'm proud to be mistaken for a Muslim. A lot of Americans come up to me and say, why are you Muslims like that? And I look around and I go, hey, why are we Muslims like that? Because we believe in what's right. That's why. And by the way, I'm Christian. And they're like in shock. Because, Americans are such nice people. I love them. I love this country. My dad loved it. He came here in the 20s. We had a lot of relatives that used to live up in Dearborn and Detroit. Some great people. Court was one of the families. Handal. These are all Norcas. These are all relatives of ours that live up there, good people. Let's go to Osama on the radio here at the Arab Daily News Radio Show. We got a few more minutes at 248-557-3300. Osama, thank you for listening and calling.
Hi, Ray. How are you?
I'm doing, I'm frustrated. I hate to hear Americans think that, Christians of the Middle East are different from Christians in America.
I know. In light of that, I really feel sorry for the evangelicals.
Yes,
because they are really, really brainwashed.
Yeah.
They don't know the issue. They take their information from one source.
They don't know. She's a good person,
exactly.
Believe me.
And I don't say that. I don't say that in a mean way. I think because they're good-hearted.
You're right.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I'm saddened that they just don't know what's happening. Why is that? Is it our fault? Maybe we fight with each other too much, and we don't do enough to educate.
I think the mass media plays a huge role in brainwashing people. And then this is one thing. And then another thing is, about those shows that they go on TV, the embellishable, God knows how many times I tried to call and, just leave a comment. Nobody would get back with me because all they want is their money. That's all they want. They want their money, and they want to, they want people to follow them because it's more empowering to them. It's more money, and they take that money and they send it to Israel, and they build these, illegal settlements. So I mean, it's, you cannot change their, way of thinking, the people unless they, they have to find on their own, and, it may take time. And, we play a role in educating. I try to, when somebody comes up to me and they say, you're Muslim, I know a lot of Muslim friends, and I know, and I try to talk to them and dialogue, and that's all I have to do. I don't have to shout. I don't have to, yell. I don't have to. And then they just start shouting. I said, hey, listen, just wait a minute. We have two different opinions. You go your way, I go my way. I still love you as a friend. I still love you as a human being. That doesn't change anything,
Yeah, but sometimes people don't want to listen. Like the wonderful lady who called.
Right,
she just didn't want to acknowledge that they're Christian Arabs.
You did your job. You gave her something to think about, and we'll leave it to there. And then they have to talk on their own.
But listen, look at what she talked about. John Hagee.
I know.
That he's a right-wing, evangelist, and he's out there and he has millions. He has millions and millions in a huge TV show. And the Arabs, we're rich too. Why don't we have a show like that? Why don't we have a TV show called Everyone Loves Abdullah? Do you know how we would change Americans if we were smart? But listen, I want to thank you.
Thank you,
for taking the time to call in. I really do appreciate it. Unfortunately, we're out of time, Osama, but that was very nice of you to call and show support.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. I want to thank all the callers who took the time to call in this morning at the Arab Daily News Radio Show, Radio Baladi. And I urge you, please go to our website at thearabdailynews.com, thearabdailynews.com, and show your support. We should support each other. We shouldn't have to struggle to champion the Arab cause. It could be easier if we all work together, and we don't do that. We need to do that. Anyway, I want to thank Mike for running the boards here and taking all the phone calls, and all you callers for calling in. And again, please go to the website, thearabdailynews.com. I'm Ray Hanania. I'll be back the second Tuesday. This is a special edition today, but I'll be the second Friday of next month. I'll be here the second Friday of next month. I hope you'll listen. Talk to you later. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.
WNZK has available a few good hours of airtime for a few good programs to serve their communities. Radio is better than ever in targeting an audience that listens to what you say. Learn more about this exciting radio broadcasting opportunity by calling WNZK Radio at 248-557-3500.